Real knowledge is to know the extent of one's ignorance. Confucius.
She used to deliver babies, but now she delivers exceptional wellness for women. Welcome to Her Brilliant Health Radio, where holistic women's health expert and board-certified OBGYN Dr. Kyrin Dunstan shares revolutionary insight from leading experts on what you need to know today to treat the root cause of disease, heal, and create the radiant health you've been searching for. Lean in and get ready to experience the bountiful, blissful, and beautiful vitality that you deserve.
Welcome back to another episode of Her Brilliant Health Revolution with Dr. Kyrin. I'm so grateful that you chose to join me today. I hope you're having a wonderful day. I want to give a shout out and a thank you for the review to someone who goes by writer Jess D. She said, love these innovative topics, ! 5 stars. She says, this podcast is one of my favorite healthcare podcasts because both the interviewer and guests always charge new and cutting edge ideas in health and self-care! Thank you so much, writer Jess D, for your review. Your review helps other women to find us, other women needing this information. And if you're a regular listener of the podcast, or if you're listening for the first time, I would so greatly appreciate it if you would leave a review, because that is how iTunes ranks podcasts so that people can see them, so that they're visible. And there are women who need this information. If you've found valuable information here, knowledge, tools, inspiration, then share that with another woman by leaving a review. We thank you in advance. And if you want to take a screenshot and post it on your social media and tag me at Kyrin Dunstan MD, that's KYRINDUNSTONMD, and also shoot me a DM with that, I will send you something special in your inbox as a gratitude note. So thank you so much. Today's episode is a special project where I'm going to lay out why you're having trouble losing weight, why you lost it, but you're regaining it, what you need to do to lose it in the first place. Basically, we all know that you must be in a ketogenic state to lose weight. So at this point, that should be a no-brainer. But is this enough? Often it is not. Or if it's the only thing you do, eventually the weight will keep creeping back on. So why is this? This is what I'll be covering in detail in this podcast. Just me. No interview, just me giving you the 411 on what's essential to address with weight loss, for success, for pushing through plateaus, for losing it after you've regained it, for starting off. You've got to address these factors. And remember that dreams don't work unless you do. So let's get to work on making sure that you have the necessary information and knowledge that you need so that you can get yourself the proper tools and support to get where you want to go. Like the quote at the beginning of this episode from Confucius, real knowledge is to know the extent of one's ignorance. Hopefully this episode will shed some light into the places that you have been unaware. Let's get started. Hi, this is Dr. Kyrin, and if you've been doing keto for a while and haven't gotten the results that you should with weight loss, or you initially lost weight, but now you've plateaued, or if you just want to make sure that you're doing everything that you can to lose as much weight as possible to get you to your healthy weight while also improving your overall health, then this information is for you. We're going to be talking about why diet and exercise will never be enough to get you to your ideal weight and keep you there. You see, it's one thing to mechanically force your body to lose weight by various methods aimed at shrinking your calories, which is essentially forced starvation. And this is never a great idea. It's another to address the underlying reasons why your body is retaining weight or fat in the first place. Give it what it needs to let the weight go and enjoy not only weight loss, but overall improved health. If you're on the keto diet bandwagon, then you already get the first part of this. You understand why and how and when your body burns fat for fuel to get rid of it. And you've mastered your macronutrient proportions and calories to get your body into that fat burning zone, right? So the macronutrients are carbs, fats, and proteins. But if you don't address the underlying physiologic issues that determine exactly how your body treats each calorie that it takes in, that is, whether it holds onto it or lets it go, then you are missing the biggest needle mover when it comes to improving your weight and your health. The truth is that at some point in your life, you will realize that diet and exercise will never be enough to get to your ideal body weight and stay there for many, if not most of us. This is because there are imbalances in your body that can be present that you may not be aware of. Most likely you're not. And this will affect exactly how your body treats each and every calorie it sees, whether it holds on to it or lets it go by burning it. So these imbalances relate to 4 areas of your health, and they're 1, hormone balance; 2, toxicity, which is inflammation; 3, nutritional deficiency; and 4, mental, emotional, and spiritual balance, or what I like to call the intangibles. So I go way more into detail on these in my book, Cracking the Bikini Code, 6 Secrets to Permanent Weight Loss Success. But I'm going to give you the basics here so that you know what's involved. So let's talk about each one of these a little bit. So, hormone balance, to me, that is the foundation of not only weight loss, but healing any disease and improving your health overall, improving your energy and how your body functions. So, why is this? Because hormones are the communicators in your body. So I liken them to the wireless internet in your house, right? You have 2 communication systems in your body. You have your nervous system, and that's your hardwired communication system, like plugging your computer in to the outlet in the wall. And then you've got your wireless internet, right? Those are your hormones. And why is that? Because hormones are chemicals that your body makes in one part of the body, in one organ, and that are secreted into the bloodstream and have to travel elsewhere to be received by the receptive organ or cells to give information on how to function, what to do. So that's communication, right? Well, that's like the wireless internet in your house. It travels wirelessly through the air into your computer to connect you to the internet. Same thing going on in your body. So, why is this so vital? Is because communication with hormones in your body tells all of your cells how to function, what they should do and when and how much and how fast. It tells them what to do. Sure, your nerves send some of this information, but the large majority of this is actually sent through hormones. So you've got 7 major hormones that are your main, what I call metabolic drivers. And when it comes to fat loss, are really the programmers of your set point, where your body weight is set, your body fat percentage is set. And so if you don't get the signals right and the communication right to your cells, telling your cells, burn fat for fuel, don't store fat, then it's going to be almost impossible. And you can work out, or do keto, and not lose weight if your cells aren't getting the right signals and information telling them to not store fat and burn fat for fuel. So those 7 hormones, what are they? They are, number 1, thyroid. That's like your body's battery pack, and it is the main determinant of your metabolic rate, right? And then you've got insulin, cortisol, and DHEA, and they're kind of twins there. Well, I call thyroid, insulin, cortisol, DHEA as a pair the 3 musketeers. And then you've got your sex hormones, estrogen, progesterone, testosterone. But let's take the first four, right? So thyroid is your main metabolic driver. It sets your body's temperature. It has everything to do with your energy, and it tells your cells whether to burn fat or not for fuel. In my experience, about 80% of women who are having a weight problem, and men, have a low functioning thyroid, whether it's clinically apparent or not. Some people have what we call subclinical hypolothyroidism. And a lot of women and men come to me and they say, oh, my doctor checked my thyroid and it's quote unquote normal. And what I'm here to tell you is that the large majority of doctors miss this diagnosis because they're not doing the right tests and they're not reading them the right way. Normal is not optimal when it comes to your health. So why is this? It's because they're concerned with, do you have a disease or not? And they're using a TSH, thyroid stimulating hormone marker, to see if you're in the disease range or not. Whereas in functional medicine, we look at 8 different parameters of your thyroid function to actually see what hormone levels your thyroid's producing. That's not standard in mainstream medicine. And when we do those right tests and we read them the right way, looking for optimal function, not just normal, which is defined by what 95% of the population has. And, we all know, let's be honest, that majority of us are not optimally healthy, and that's who you're being compared to with your lab results. So we look at them and read them for optimal function. And like I said, 80% of people with a weight problem have low thyroid by definition. And that's the number one hormone you really need to look at. Other common symptoms are constipation, having less than 1 bowel movement a day, dry hair, skin, nails, brittle nails, hair loss, fatigue. These are all very common symptoms of low thyroid function. And then you've got to look at insulin, because insulin is your blood sugar hormone, and it's what keeps your blood sugar from going too high after you eat, because every food has a certain amount of glucose or sugar and is going to jump up your insulin. And insulin is what tells your body, take in the sugar, store it as fat, and don't let it keep staying in circulation. Why is that? Because glucose is inflammatory to your cells. So you don't want too much glucose around. That's what happens with diabetics. Their cells, insulin becomes ineffective, or they don't have enough of it, and the glucose hangs out and damages all of your cells. And that's why it damages the cells in the eyes and causes eye disease. It damages cells in the kidneys and causes kidney disease, and so on. So you got to get your insulin down in order to lose weight, because insulin sends the signal to your cells, take glucose, store it as fat, do not burn fat for fuel. So if you have too much insulin, you're insulin resistant, you're diabetic, then those signals are cattywampus, and you've got to get that hormone in the right range. And then the last is cortisol and DHEA. And why is this so vital? So cortisol is your stress hormone. It actually helps to balance out that blood sugar, so that if your blood sugar goes too low, it helps to bring it back up. But it also has a role in giving the signal to store sugar and fat and not burn fat. And it has a large part in your sleep-wake cycle, your energy, and your immune system, whether you get cancer or not, whether you get sick or not, whether you get a viral infection or not. So this is key. And so you've got to balance these: cortisol, insulin, thyroid. They're the 3 musketeers. They are your main metabolic drivers, and they will, to a large part, determine your weight and your energy and your overall health. I have never seen a person with a weight problem or weight loss resistance or plateauing on a keto diet who did not have a problem with one or all of these hormones. They all interact. If you have a problem with one, it's going to affect the other. So this is key. And then we've got the sex hormones, estrogen, progesterone, and testosterone. Women and men have all 3 of these hormones. It's just that men have 10 times the testosterone and women have 10 times the estrogen and progesterone as men. Well, Estrogen, although we need it in the right amounts, and most of us have way too much. It promotes weight gain and fat retention when you have too much. So estrogen is the PMS, weight gain, water retention, depression hormone. And progesterone is the antidote to that. It's the weight loss, diuretic, anti-anxiety, anti-depression, anti-PMS, feel good, happy hormone. And testosterone is vital for keeping weight off, maintaining muscle mass and bone mass, which are huge determinants of how much fat you will retain because they set your resting metabolic rate. And this is why men have such an easier time with their weight, maintaining it and losing it because they have way more testosterone. Well, with us women, about 50% of us are testosterone deficient. And if you are, it's going to make losing weight really hard and keeping it off even harder. And if you're estrogen dominant, like the majority of us are, especially starting in the perimenopause around 35, 40, or if we have PCOS, polycystic ovarian syndrome, fibroids, endometriosis, ovarian cysts, breast cancer, any of these estrogen dominant conditions, then we have way too much estrogen hormone driving our fat retention and not enough progesterone to balance it out. So you've got to detoxify that excess estrogen. Yep. We've got to get rid of everything that our body makes. And if you've got weight loss resistance and you're a woman or a man, this is true for men too, then you've got to get rid of that excess estrogen and boost up your progesterone. And that can be done in a variety of ways, whether it's with botanicals like chaste tree, vitex, or bioidentical progesterone. You've got to balance it out. And then testosterone can be boosted with DHEA, which you can take orally, or other natural exercise boost testosterone. That's the number one thing you can do to boost your testosterone. Sleep also. And there are botanicals that can help with this as well. So you got to get the communication right between your brain and your cells with balancing your hormones so that your cells are getting the right instruction. And that instruction that you want if you're trying to lose weight is do not hold on to calories as fat. Open your cells, burn those calories, and let them go. So that is the foundation that you need to address. And if you're having weight loss resistance or you've plateaued, then you got to look at this first. Hey, have you been feeling anxious about the current climate and new risks to your health? And wondering if your overall level of health is good enough to support you if you were to get sick? You are not alone. Now more than ever, your health has got to be brilliant, support you, and shine. It's time to stop procrastinating on getting the evaluation, knowledge, tools, and support that you know you need to address the roots of what's going wrong with your health, keeping you tired, overweight, lacking in stamina, and on prescription medications. That is just not good enough anymore. New threats mean you've got to develop a better defense, and I'm here to help. I personally invite you to schedule a complimentary phone consultation with me, wherever you live, to discuss your personal health concerns and how a comprehensive, holistic, root cause approach can help you not only alleviate the current symptoms you're having, but also boost your level of health resilience. It's all about resilience now. You can sign up on my website, KyrinDunstonMD.com, where there's additional information about supercharging your wellness during this important time in our history. So what's number 2? Toxicity. Toxicity is a huge driver of weight loss resistance. It's a huge driver of weight gain and fat retention. What is toxicity? Toxicity is inflammation. I like to describe this as the rust inside your body that damages your cells, makes you ill, and ultimately it's what kills us all. So it is the enemy. And toxicity can come from a variety of different places and substances. So it can come from inside your body, and most of that comes from the gastrointestinal health, from your mouth down to your anus. If you've got inflammation going on, whether it's from parasites or abnormal bacteria, fungi, viruses, or foods that you're eating that you're sensitive to that you have no idea are causing you a problem, right? These can cause inflammation in your gastrointestinal tract. It can be from a gingivitis, so inflammation of your gums if you have poor dental health, root canals that have ongoing inflammation, and on down. So most of us, because of our current eating practices and environment, have significant inflammation in our gastrointestinal tract, and that affects our health. And then we can have toxicity that comes from outside, right? So it can be chemicals like heavy metals, like from leaded gasoline in the 1970s that's still in our environment. Or it could be from leaded pipes that some of us still have in our homes, and we're drinking water with leaded pipes. And this is why it's so essential to filter our water. Or it could be from pesticides in our food that we're eating. Or it could be from phthalates from plastic bottles that we're drinking out of. Or BPA that lines many cans that we eat canned goods out of. Or it can come from our furnishings and volatile organic compounds that we have in our home, or construction products. I did a great podcast episode on her brilliant health revolution. One of the first few episodes was Laura Adler, who we went into detail on the environmental chemicals. And it's not to overwhelm you. Yes, we are swimming in a sea of chemicals, but it's to inform you and also let you know that there are things that you can do, actions you can take to limit your exposure and get them out of your life so they're not coming into your body, but also ways you can usher them out, and that is detoxification. So you've got to detoxify your gut and detoxify your body from all of these chemicals that have gotten into you. And if you haven't been doing any formal detoxification, you need to start now. So why does this stop you from losing weight? I'm going to tell you. So what these chemicals do in your body is when they can't get out, your body says, well, I know they're going to make me sick, so I've got to remove them from general circulation, and I can't get rid of them because they're just way too many. 85,000 new chemicals introduced into our environment since the 1950s, the Industrial Revolution. The average person has traces of 400 toxic chemicals in their body. So your body is overrun with its capacity to get rid of these toxins through its main sanitation department, which is the liver, which dumps into the gut, which goes into your poop, into the toilet, right? Or it should. And so what happens is your body says, I got to store these because they're making me sick, or they're going to make me sick. So where does it put it? Well, one guess: fat. So fat is not just decoration, it is a storage unit, not only for fat, but for unwanted toxins. Your body packs the toxins in fat. So you go and try and lose weight, you keto it, you exercise it, and maybe your body lets go of some weight, but eventually stops and you plateau, or you lose all the weight you want and then you gain it back. Why is this happening? One of the main reasons is not only your hormones might be imbalanced and you're not getting the right signals, but two, your reservoir of toxicity is too big for your body to get rid of. And it knows if it starts opening those fat cells and burning that fat and getting rid of it, all the toxins will be released and you won't be able to get rid of it and you'll get sick. So it says, oh no, we're not going there. So witness people who have forced starvation like gastric bypass. Have you ever noticed how they often get very ill in the first few months or years after they have the gastric bypass? This is because those toxins are being forcefully liberated and they can't overcome it. You'll also notice how they have a lot of sagging skin. People have asked me for years, Dr. Kyrin, you lost 100 pounds. Why don't you have skin hanging down to the floor? Because I did it the right way and I addressed the root causes of why I had the health problems. I detoxified, balanced the hormones, and all of these other things I'm telling you about. So my skin actually regained a certain degree of elasticity and shrunk back. I'm not going to say it shrunk back to perfect, but what I'm going to say is that I don't have what a lot of gastric bypass people have, and this is why. So you've got to detoxify, and your main routes of detoxification are your liver and your kidneys and your lungs. Liver has probably over 90% responsibility for getting rid of these toxins. And your skin is also a great backup to these main three ways of detoxifying that you can use with things like deprivation therapies and sauna and things like that to get rid of toxins. So there are herbs and nutraceuticals that you can take to get these chemicals out into your stool. You can bind them into your stool with fiber and charcoal, depending on your specific situation, and get them out into the toilet. So that's number two. Number three is nutritional insufficiency, right? So what happens with all of these toxins that we encounter on a daily basis? It uses up our precious nutritional resources to get rid of toxins and then outstrips our ability to get rid of the toxins, and we are left with nutritional insufficiency. I'm not talking about macronutrients, right? Proteins, carbs, fats. That problem in the industrialized world, we really don't have. We don't have a problem with macronutrient insufficiency, but we certainly have a problem with micronutrient insufficiency. So what am I talking about? I'm talking about vitamins, minerals, and other nutrients that our body needs as cofactors in enzymatic reactions to contract muscles, to make hormones, to do everything that it does each and every day. I'm talking about deficiencies here so that your body can't metabolize toxins and get rid of them, can't make hormones that it needs to make. And so your body starts prioritizing and says, well, I've got to beat the heart and I've got to move the lungs to breathe. But you know what? I don't have to detox that estrogen, so I'll take care of that when I have enough resources, right? Kind of like when you might have financial resources strapped, you might say, well, I got to pay the light bill and the rent, but I don't have to go to the movies or go to Disney World. So you start prioritizing. Your body does the same when it has nutritional insufficiency and it doesn't have nutritional prosperity. And it doesn't have to burn fat for fuel. That's kind of an extravagance, right? So your body stops doing that. And you're doing keto and exercise and having difficulties like we've described before. So you might plateau or start regaining weight. So you have to get the nutritional resources on board for your body to be able to open the fat cells, unlock them, and burn the fat for fuel. I call it the fat jail because jail is where you store unwanted things, right? Toxins. And you've got to have the key to the fat jail, and that's your nutritional resources to unlock them and let the toxins out and burn the fat for fuel. So that's number three. And then last but not least, is your mental, emotional, and spiritual balance. So what am I talking about? What are you talking about, Dr. Kyrin? What does that have to do with my weight? It has everything to do with your weight. And I'm not talking about mindset here. I'm not talking about plateaus, about, think it and be it, just small little things. I'm talking about the energy grid that exists in your body that you can't see, feel, hear, touch, taste, smell with your five senses, that is the foundation for your entire physical health, and the expression and outpicturing of is your physical body, right? So some of you are familiar with acupuncture that accesses this energetic grid in your body that is the basis and underlying foundation for your physical health, just like the scaffolding is in a skyscraper or in your home. They had to create the framing in order for them to put walls and ceiling and floor up, right? So that's what I'm talking about. And that exists with your physical body. And it has to do with the intangibles in your life, the thoughts you think, the feelings that you feel, the beliefs that you hold, and your greater connection to something larger than yourself, which again is another form of wireless internet, a power greater than yourself. And you can call that whatever you want to call it. You can call it God if you want. You can call it spirituality, the divine, nature, Mother Gaia. I don't care what you call it, but this force exists, it's measurable, and it's measurable outside of you, and it's accessible through acupuncture points, but also through your thoughts, feelings, and beliefs. And you've got to look at that and what blocks there are in this energetic body that are keeping the weight on and preventing you from losing it. So let me just give you a brief example because this is a very deep topic that I go into in a lot of detail when I work with people in my group programs, my Bikini Code Boot Camp, when I work with people one-on-one. It's a key component of what we work on, and it's something that you need to be aware of when you're trying to lose weight and regain health and energy. So one exercise I like to look at is toxicity is not only about physical toxicity, toxins getting into your body that you need to get out, but it's about energetic toxicity. So I ask people to make a list of everything that is causing them discomfort in their thoughts and feelings in their life. People, places, and things, which are thoughts and beliefs that are getting in the way. And so maybe it's that person in your house you live with who's always bringing Twinkies into the house, even though you ask them not to, right? Or maybe it's a job that you really hate to go to and it feels toxic. Or maybe it's the fact that when you don't get an A on every single test, you berate yourself and say that you're stupid. And so it's toxic thoughts that you're thinking, right? People, places, things, and thoughts and beliefs. And then I ask you to score it on a scale of 1 to 10. How toxic is it? 1 is mildly toxic, 10 is totally toxic. And then I ask you to look at, can you get rid of it? Can you change it? Or can you change how you think about it so that it's not so toxic, so that you render it non-toxic? Some things like, can I get rid of the thought that I should get an A on every test? Well, yeah, you can. Do you really want to have that belief? And I have another process I take people to help transform beliefs. And maybe you can't get rid of it, like that person who lives in your house who maybe you're married to. Can you get rid of them? Maybe not right now, or maybe you don't want to. But can you change them? Can you sit down and have a talk with them about, this is what I'm trying to do and intending in my life around my weight and health, and it doesn't involve Twinkies, and I'm overly tempted to eat them when they're in the house. Would it be possible for you to not bring these things into the house? Can you change the toxicity level and take it from an 8 to a 3? And I find that when people have those discussions with their loved ones, that their loved ones often aren't aware of what they're wanting or attending or the support that they need. So asking and changing it. Or can you change how you think about it? Maybe right now you can't change your toxic job. I had one client who her job was very toxic, and we looked at why that was. And one of the things was she had this nondescript cubicle, just like everyone else. She couldn't close her door and get away from everyone else in the office. And they oftentimes were distracting her with noise that she didn't want to hear or visual disturbances. And so we looked at, she couldn't get rid of her job right then. How could she change how she thought about it? And so she did some things to change it. She brought some plants in. She started wearing headphones and listening to soft music that was supportive to her. And she started changing how she thought about it, that she really was appreciative of her job and being grateful for the aspects of what it did give her instead of focusing so severely on what it didn't give her, and how it was using some of the gifts that she had. Even though there were some gifts it wasn't using, how could she bring those into her job and start being more creative, or use those outside of her job so that her job wasn't her only source of fulfillment? So this really transformed the level of toxicity she had at her job. So anyway, this is a big topic. And so I wanted to give you some examples, but you got to get this part right, because that energetic scaffolding exists, even if you're not aware of it. And you've got to address what it's asking and calling forth from you in order to transform the weight issue. So that's it in a nutshell. To get to and stay at your ideal body weight and optimal health, you absolutely must address these vital aspects of your health. There is no way around it. Diet and exercise will never be enough. If your hormones aren't balanced and sending the right communication signals to your cells, if you have too much toxicity and inflammation, if you don't have the right nutrients on board, or if your energetic body, represented by your thoughts, feelings, beliefs, and spiritual connection, aren't aligned with your greater purpose and intent, then ideal weight loss and health may remain elusive for you. When you begin to address these issues, you will be amazed at the results you'll begin to experience. When I started my health journey over 10 years ago, I didn't exercise or count calories. I only addressed these underlying issues. And 2 years later, I had lost 100 pounds and gotten off of all prescription medications. My hope is for you to experience such radical shifts in your weight and health. I know it can happen, as I have seen it over and over again with my patients and clients, with my one-on-one consulting everywhere in the United States, and my group programs. You can find out more in my book, Cracking the Bikini Code, 6 Secrets to Permanent Weight Loss Success, or on my website, KyrinDunstonMD.com, and that's spelled KYRINDUNSTONMD.com, where there's information about my one-on-one consulting and group programs that I offer periodically. I wish you brilliant, bountiful, blissful health and excellent, successful weight loss. And let me know, reach out to me on social media if I can help you in any way. If you have any questions, if you want more information or clarification, I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful day. I also look forward to seeing you on my Her Brilliant Health Revolution podcast, not only for women, but also I have a lot of male listeners too. Many blessings, and thank you for spending this time with me. Thank you so much for joining me for this episode of the podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, please share it on social media and send it to someone who would benefit from it. If you love the show and really want to support it, please go to iTunes, write a review, and subscribe. This helps other women find us so that they too can heal and enjoy brilliant health. I've got a gift for you. If you take a screenshot of your review, post it on your social media, and tag me, I'll send you a special surprise right to your inbox. Thank you so much for joining me. And remember, healing and getting optimally healthy